versus like The Land Before Time is a movie that has soul. It's got spirit. Like it is clearly about something profound. It is about what it means to be human, but it is wrapped in a package that children will enjoy. And as we progress into a world that will be more and more changed by climate change and hell, I don't know, economic collapse, I hope movies like this become more important because I think they're going to bring us ourselves back to ourselves.
Talking about our sacred text of the month. We're gonna go to The Land Before Time. What's your history with this movie? What do you remember about it?
Oh, dude. This is probably the first movie that elicited an emotional reaction from me. Like, when did it come out? 80, 89?
88.
88. So I was born in 90. So I was watching this on VHS, as a toddler.
Yeah.
I loved this movie. Watched it over and over and over and over again. With 100%, this is the first movie that ever made me cry. And like, I remember being a kid and not really understanding what was happening.
Yeah.
But knowing that I was feeling.
I was talking to a friend of the pod who's been on the pod before, but we will not bring up the name because I realized I was like, you know what? Maybe they don't want their name in here. Who knows? They were asked the last time that they like really cried. And they were like, the theater nearby was playing Land Before Time. I went after the gym. I had my protein shake in one hand, a sweat rag, and I ugly cried into that sweat rag for a good few minutes. And I'm like, that's amazing. In public, with other people there.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's what we like to hear. This was that movie for a lot of people, but especially among men, I think there's something about boys that were like, yeah, we all cried during this. I think for me, it was either this or it was the Goofy movie, which
Oh,
I
dude,
have
yeah.
not gone back to watch too much. But there's
You
something about
haven't?
loving your father, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
man, it's my fiance's favorite movie, so I've watched bits and pieces because she has it on a lot. But
Yeah.
Land Before Time is just that movie. Yeah, 88 came out before both of us were born, but like pretty soon before.
Yeah.
VHS was often kicking. I sometimes sit here when I like read Facebook stories or hear from people about like, oh, my kid won't stop watching Moana, and I'm like, give these kids a variety. Then I'm like,
I know.
actually, call it tism or otherwise. I was
Yeah.
watching Land Before Time, Jurassic Park, Apollo 13, Back to the Future, Star Wars on
Yeah.
repeat. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is just a good one.
Yeah. So here, before we talk, we should talk about the context of this movie. So it's made by Don Bluth.
Yeah.
Don Bluth, brother Bluth.
Brother Bluth.
Don Bluth was a Mormon, and boy, I'll tell you what, this is a very Mormon coded movie.
Yeah.
Like Littlefoot, he's a deacon. He's a 12-year-old deacon.
No wonder it hits the same way.
Yeah.
There's something about the Holy Mother archetype and guiding mother, the way that the spirits interact, that's very just really hits home. If
Yeah.
it came from home or home or otherwise. Here's what I'll say first and foremost. We need another Don Bluth. I
Yeah.
thought for a minute it might have been Illumination. They do their own thing, it's fine, whatever. He just had so many hits. I absolutely love most of the movies he did. I mean, An American Tail, Fievel Goes West.
Yes.
Who
Yeah.
knew we knew like a Western mouse Jew story? Like I had no clue. Or Anastasia, All Dogs Go to Heaven, The Secrets of Nim. It just what a guy. I liked Titan AE. I know it's not great. I know it was like his weird
It was
final
fun.
final film, but it was fun. Matt Damon, Bartok, Rockadoodle. He just
Did he
his
do
was fun.
did he do Oliver and Company as well?
I don't know that he did.
Mm. Same
Raggedy
era.
Ann, Pete's Dragon, animation director. And that's the thing too. He was working at Disney for a long time. Then he ended
Yeah.
up falling out of Disney, which is why he went off to do his own stuff. All Dogs Go to Heaven is just like
Yeah.
prime.
Did he do We're Back, a Dinosaur Story with like John Goodman?
And Jay Leno. What the heck?
Yeah. Dude, talk about movies that I was obsessed with.
Oh, that's Ivan Reitman. That's even more quizzical.
No.
Directed by Ivan Reitman. I'm like, wait, okay. Well, we should also talk about this.
Yeah.
Fun connection. We're Back, executive produced by Steven Spielberg and
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy. Land Before Time, executive produced by Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, and Kathleen Kennedy. And I just have to say, when you go reading the quotes, They're pretty amazing. I pulled a handful because I was like, excuse me, what? George Lucas on this movie was like, there's a mythic structure to The Land Before Time. It's about
Absolutely.
young ones coming together, forming a fellowship, and facing a great unknown. It's a story as old as time. And you're like, George, yeah. You know
I
what?
mean,
Fuck it.
yeah,
Yeah. Fellowship of the
absolutely.
Dinosaurs. It definitely hit. Steven Spielberg was like, I wanted to make a dinosaur film that wasn't just about spectacle, but more so about feelings and the story of Littlefoot and his friends trying to find a new home. That's something very human. The fact that Spielberg made this before Jurassic Park really just cements it. I'm like, this is his first dinosaur movie.
Yeah.
For all those
Yeah.
who don't know this movie, it's a beautiful little film. It's only an hour and some change. It's very short.
Yeah, like an hour 15.
Yeah, hour 15. It's tight, it's quick. In a prehistoric era, dinosaurs coexist in the middle of a changing environment, which we will talk about in a moment. A catastrophic earthquake separates a young Apatosaurus named Littlefoot from his family. Before succumbing to injuries from a T Rex attack, Littlefoot's mom guides him to seek the fabled Great Valley, a land of abundance where the great
Oh,
light sets. So he embarks on a journey. He's quite alone for a good portion of the movie before running back into Sarah, a headstrong Triceratops, Ducky, an amiable little Sorlophus, Sorlophus,
Dilophosaurus.
Dilophosaurus,
Dilophosaurus.
some
I don't
source.
know.
Petrie, a little pteranodon, pterodactyl, and Spike, a very gentle and non-speaking stegosaurus. They face all kinds of threats and fun moments. They face each other. It's a lot about coming of age and growing up and finding yourself and being alone and with friends. And there's the constant threat of the sharp tooth, which is just the scary ass T Rex always following them. The journey is all about friendship, resilience, and growth. And I'm going to tell you what, if you haven't watched it, pull it up and watch it today because it's just so good.
Yeah. And get ready to cry.
Get ready to cry. I'm watching it with my partner, and she's just like, of course, dinosaurs. You love dinosaurs. Okay. I wasn't a fire truck kid, I was a dinosaur kid. And then the moment where Littlefoot's mother is dying, I look over and tears are streaming. Yes, it worked. First time viewer. She was on her phone. The phone is away. It's
Yeah.
so emotional where you sit there and you're like, is this what happens when like emotionally mature males sit down together to write a dinosaur kids movie? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The death of the mother was mythologically, archetypally speaking, like an important step in a man's development, right? I read this book called Iron John. Are you familiar with that
No.
mythology, Iron John? The long and short of it is that it's like this mythology of this, Iron John is this hairy pond man that gets imprisoned by the king, and he talks the young princeling into freeing him, but he has to go steal the key from underneath his mother's pillow to free Iron John. And then Iron John and the kid run away, and Iron John becomes his spiritual mentor. And so
Wow.
what it does is it highlights that in the maturation process of young men, learning how to separate yourself from the feminine is a part of that step. And so the death of the mother in this is like incredibly sorrowful because Littlefoot like identifies with his mother, but he cannot find himself without stepping away from it.
Growing up, there was that Bible verse. Are you familiar? The one about a man should cleave unto his wife and leave his
Yeah.
family behind.
Yeah.
It's funny how much that stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Genesis 2:24, maybe because when I like wanted to sit back and read the Old Testament, that's about as far as I got while still being interested. No, no. A man should leave his parents and be united with his wife, becoming one flesh. Just talking about like this commitment. And I think growing up, I always knew I was like, well, what happens is you're a part of the family. You are cut off until you find a new family, and you are alone like Littlefoot in the wilderness. I think this is fun because they're also kids. They're also kids
Yeah.
all trying to get back to their families. And
Yeah.
this is not a story of romance. They're way too young for that. It's not a
Mm-mm.
story of they're going to make their own little commune and they're going to go live together. It's I want to get back to where all of our families are in the Great Valley, in the Great
Yeah.
Beyond. And you texted me saying this is Mormon coded.
Yeah.
I just sat there and I was like, oh Lord, the great journey to the great beyond and following the sun from up to
Yeah.
down every single day until you reach a place where you're no longer going to have to deal with fighting for food and environmental struggles and Sharptooth.
And all your family is there.
I mean, what a movie about heaven.
Your family, your ancestors. Yeah. I mean, hell, even the way the grandparent apatosaurs are
Yeah.
animated, they
Oh.
look Mormon. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
They look like they're general authorities.
Yeah, there is something about that. You're right. At certain points, I was like, did I just never catch the racial overtones as a kid? I mean, I kind of got that they were
Mhm.
different and different looking, and okay, we don't hang out with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now watching it, I was like, damn, the Triceratops were not into hanging out with the other kind. Got
Yeah.
it. Well, let's talk a little bit about the movie.
Yeah.
There's an environmental message, which is the world's going to shit around them, right?
Yes.
And they can't change it. So it's not so much like a Wall-E or whatever of like, hey, don't litter. It's more so just like nature is nature and it's going to do its thing.
Yeah.
Also, just the idea of extinction and the struggle of survival being life is fragile. And when the mother dies, it's not so, it is dramatic, but it's not so explosions and oh my gosh, and I'll never be with you again. She goes, no, 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 no,
Mhm.
no, no. I'm always with you. And I like the Ankylosaurus
Oh,
wise
yeah.
sage being like,
Yeah.
you love her, don't you? You remember her, don't you? Then she's always a part of you. And it's like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, no, my favorite line from him is it is nobody's fault. Because Littlefoot is like, it's all her fault. If she hadn't have fought the sharp tooth, she'd still be here with me. And then he's like, it's my fault because I went somewhere that I wasn't supposed to go. And the wise guy's like, no, it's no one's fault. These things just happen. And the great circle of life has already begun.
Yeah,
And like you're already initiated into what it means to be alive right now. And I'm just like, I it makes me weak.
yeah. It's so Eastern for Don Bluth and Spielberg and Lucas to sit there and you're like, wait, what? You were okay with the circle of life and not good, bad, evil? Sharptooth is hungry and it's angry looking at times, and honestly, I'm gonna say it. It's serving cunt. It's just cunty as hell. The way it presses around on its little high heels, I'm like, this is the
Yeah,
cuntiest dinosaur I've ever seen.
absolutely.
But yet, it doesn't feel unnecessary. It feels like it's also struggling to eat. And they explain it through the
Yeah,
story of like, look, the grass eaters, the flat tooths, they're running out of food and they're trying to migrate. And also the sharp tooths, they're dying off quicker because there's not enough flat tooths to eat. Okay, this is about survival.
yeah,
And I do like that it doesn't paint it as evil, bad. Yeah, oh, this is good. It's like, no, yeah, circle of life. You know what? That's what happened when Little Toots and his little band find a clearing of some big star-shaped leaf trees, and then
hmm
all the other giant hungry apatosaurus go down there and eat it all. It's depressing to watch. And there's a moment of like, hey, adult versus children, or what's going on? But this is a movie about extinction and about need and want and lack of resources. Okay, this is how it would be, and it's not evil. It's just it is what it is.
yeah. The competition and scarcity is
Yeah.
really sad, especially when you consider even not what's the one before Five Goes West?
An American
An American
Tale.
Tale. And so in American Tale, it's about this family who's really poor. And, the
Mm.
sister is even like, how can I help? And anyways, that's a different movie, but this is clearly a theme in Don Bluth's work, which is like, how can we band together in scarcity and not like overrun each other, but help each other uplift? Because what you get in that scene is you get all the adult dinosaurs run down this clearing, eat everything up, and then they leave. And then you get these kids who are just like, now what do we do? So they go down there, they find a tree that had to have some left over, and they have to work together as a team to get everything down. And it's a good moment for them to kind of work together and build a little community, especially across species lines. But that's definitely a theme of like apes strong together.
Yeah, it's true. And I love the idea of it being about prejudices existing. And they don't get fully erased, I don't think, by the end of it. Everyone still goes to
No.
their own parents. That's understandable. It's more
hmm
so about cooperation despite differences. And I like that. I like that it's not like, we're all the same thing, man. That's an easy thing to say. It's harder to see in real life and practice. And instead,
Yeah.
this is like, no, we are all different, but if you want to stay warm and get good sleep at night, you're going to all sleep
Mhm.
together. You're gonna
Yeah.
well, that's a deeper meaning. Anyways. um, it's a resilient story. It's short. The music is absolutely
Oh my gosh.
amazing.
Yeah. It's deeply emotional. Diana Ross sings the song.
James Horner has done some of the best music in
Yeah.
movies. He did pass away a few years ago. I fell in love with his music when I was trying to study in college. And, Titanic, that's
Yeah.
James Horner, Braveheart, Avatar, Apollo 13, Legends of Zorro, Rocketeer, Beautiful Mind, American Tail, and A Land Before Time.
Mhm.
He just has done so much. Field of Dreams is him. I love the score from Field of Dreams. Cocoon. Anyway, this is among his other scores. It does not miss the whole time. You're sitting there and you're
No.
like, how are we having this beautiful, no dialogue like scene of like dinosaurs running around? How cute. Oh my gosh, they're eating. Oh, they're playing. They're whatever. And it's like the most beautiful orchestra behind it. And you
Yeah.
go, oh, this is visual storytelling. This is just
Yeah.
chewing it up.
Yeah. So, like we've said, this movie is essentially it's about the journey back.
Yeah.
So it's about the journey home, right? Spirited Away was the journey back to ourselves. The Land Before Time is the journey back home. And if home isn't ourselves, then it's a place where all of our loved ones are and our family and stuff. But I think what I love about this is that Littlefoot's mom told him the way to the Great Valley.
Yeah.
And throughout the story, he has to continually remember what it is that she said, because there's a point where he's like, I forgot what she told me. And, then the mom's spirit voice comes and reminds him, which is so beautiful and touching.
Yeah.
But then you get Littlefoot with his band of friends, and none of them were told the way to the Great Valley. And so he has to be kind of the center point, driving his merry band of the Fellowship of the Dinosaurs on towards the Great Valley. And then you get, I think Sarah is such a great character because she represents kind of this stubbornness of will,
Mm.
which I know I love archetypes. And, there's a way of looking at these characters as very archetypal, that they each represent aspects of ourselves, that we have a Littlefoot part of ourselves. We have a Ducky part of ourselves. We have a Sarah part of ourselves. And Sarah, I think, represents the stubbornness of our ego of needing to do it all by ourselves. Because that's her whole thing is like, I'm going to do this by myself. And she doesn't need help. And I think one of the beautiful character arcs in the movie is Sarah's, where she has to go through the humiliation of going the wrong way
Yep.
and has to really suffer the humiliation of not knowing where she's going or what she's doing, and being rewarded through her humiliation with friendship and compassion from her friends.
Which is beautiful because it would have been so easy for them to be like, I told you so, which just feels like a
Yeah.
childish thing to do. And instead, there's a maturity of it all. I mean, since you're talking about archetypes and tropes, Littlefoot's a little messianic.
Yeah.
A little bit, right? Like, you don't have to believe in a Jesus story. And I don't think Steven Spielberg does. But I was just going to say, like, there's something messianic or developed about one knows the path,
Mhm.
the others need to trust. Each one has their own hang-ups and their own abilities. But like you're saying, maybe it's better, especially for kids, that we fractalize a whole person into six or
Yeah.
five to be able to understand those little elements of you're being a Sarah right now, you're being a Littlefoot, you're being a Petrie.
Yeah.
Okay, that's easier than saying, here's this really complex human, and
Mhm.
you're going to be one of these, and you've got all these sides, and they'll all show different times.
Mhm.
Figure that out. I love, at least for me, like the tree star is like a totem or a talisman, which
Yeah.
is a great storytelling device, and I like that it's personified in this movie as, are you going the right way? Oh, tree star? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Now you know. And if you love metaphysics, that's kind of the point of metaphysics, is you
Yeah.
have these things that you allow the universe to kind of show you if you're on not the right path, but just to remind you of what you've learned or what you're doing.
Yeah. I was a blanket kid, so I had a blanket
Yeah, yeah,
for the first, I don't know, for so long,
long
right?
time.
Probably too long.
Yeah.
And that I think when I was watching this as a kid, the tree star was like Littlefoot's blanket, his
Mm,
blankie, right?
yeah.
And I really I identified with that. And so I had a blanket, a little like it was tattered and torn and in rags by the
Yeah.
time that I was done with it. And it's probably still in a bag in my parents' like garage or something somewhere in a box. But that was my little comfort totem that was like given to me by my mother. And it was the thing that brought comfort and solace and security to my life.
Do you think this movie is going to be more important to our generation's kids as we are living in a seemingly extincting world, a world facing extinction in some ways. Is this going to become more important, or is it just like, that was fun, moving on?
I know what I hope.
Tell me what you
I hope
hope.
it. Be,
That's more important.
I hope it becomes more important. I think that if people have a sense of, gosh, I don't know, maybe this is me just being pessimistic about the kind of children's movie landscape right now, where we've got absolute shit shows like Minecraft movie coming out that have no soul. They're
Yeah.
soulless. They have no spirit. They have nothing in them. They're clearly just like, hey, look, we said the word, and now applaud us. Give us your money because we said the word Minecraft. Or we said the word chicken jockey,
Yeah.
right? Versus like The Land Before Time is a movie that has soul. It's got spirit. Like, it is clearly about something profound. It is about what it means to be human, but it is wrapped in a package that children will enjoy. So I think that if I ever have kids, you bet your ass they're going to be raised on these kinds of films that have spirit and soul in them. And this movie just probably comes from a time before the fracture of our attention and the attention economy, where it's not necessarily about making a good story as much as it is making sure that people will sit down and watch a thing. And as we progress into a world that will be more and more changed by climate change and, hell, I don't know, economic collapse, I hope movies like this become more important, because I think they're going to bring us ourselves back to ourselves after we've been lost in the journey. I hope that movies like this become very important, because we're going to need media and mythology and stuff to bring us back to ourselves, bring us back home.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any real attributable author to the quote. But that quote about children are more mature than you realize, or children understand more than you realize. You just have to help them along the way or put it more on their terms, but they can understand hefty concepts.
Yeah.
I think watching this movie as a kid, you got what was happening to an extent.
Yeah.
You understood the feelings, the emotions, the losing the mother, the whatever. And even if your brain is not even close to being fully developed to understand all the intricacies or exactly how it plays out, you can understand and put yourself in the mind of Littlefoot for a moment and go, oh, if this happened, then this, then this, then this, then this. I think these kinds of movies, like you're saying, with soul to them, that don't play down to dumb levels, that don't suck all the heart of it out and just make it fart jokes the whole time, or nostalgia bait, or hey, you saw this on YouTube yesterday. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to enjoy it again today on the big screen. I think we're missing a little bit of this. And watching it, I was a little frustrated at Disney and other companies that have taken over the animated space and made it their own, which a lot of them do have heart, but it's different. And I think it would be nice to have more stories coming out told from different perspectives, points of view, different types of stories that don't have to go through the Disney corporate machine. Because, like this movie, Don Bluth breaks off from Disney. He's like, I want to tell what I want to tell. I don't want to go through 50 C suite executives to be like, oh, it's not what the mouse says. Here you go. I think kids can deal with emotions. And this movie's a great example of learning to deal with emotions and hefty topics in a fun and emotional way, deep way.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I was a kid, I mean, my recollection isn't that I understood
Yeah.
intellectually what was happening as much as I just felt what was happening.
Hmm. Hmm.
And just having those feelings pass through my little body was good, because it created pathways for emotional awareness
Yeah.
that otherwise might not have been there.
Yeah, they don't have to understand the Great Valley as an Edenic or a Promised Land or anything else. There's no other subtext you have to understand as a kid.
Yeah.
Now we can look at them and go like, what are they trying to say here? How biblical was this? But I think for if you haven't watched this movie in a while, with or without kids, it's a good rewatch. It's short. I know I rented it on Prime. You can rent it elsewhere or go to your local library or something like that. But I think The Land Before Time is one of these movies that gets forgotten about because it spawned 13 direct to VHS sequels.
Oh my gosh.
The pre-Netflix, that's what they were doing. But it was a huge box office success. It had amazing ratings. Again, the score is absolutely lovely. The animation was great. It's a movie that is a treasure trove in and of itself. If you can just set aside the fact that it got 13 direct to VHS sequels.
It is a pearl of great price.
Oh boy, and there we are, we're back. Well, rest in peace, Don Bluth. Thank you for bringing us this movie. If you want to watch it, we'll have it linked in the show notes. Any other thoughts before we head out today?
No, dude, just, watch this, get ready to cry, and let it happen to you.
Let it happen. Keep
It
a
will
tissue
be
here.
fun together.
Until next week, make sure you watch good movies and TV with the